Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us on a Saturday for our Making a Movement workshop with Blackout Stamford. Just going to wait for some people to join us this afternoon. My name is Leslie Walton. I am the Member Engagement Manager for NSHSS, and I and my colleague Abby Duke, who is our social media manager, we have the privilege and pleasure of working with our leadership programs, our student members. The ambassador group is where we met and were able to touch base with Abnerline and Layla, and then Patrick joined us for their movement, Blackout Stamford. That's how this workshop got started. We were so intrigued and just inspired by the work that they're doing in their community that we wanted to make sure they had an opportunity to share it with our general members, and then of course with the rest of the community that we have here with NSHSS. For now, we're going to just wait for some other participants to join as everyone comes in. I'm from Atlanta, so we don't start things on time generally. So I don't know if that's a Southern thing, but I know everybody has busy schedules, so we will just wait a little bit. But while we're doing that, I'll go over a few housekeeping items. So the first thing that we have is down on the bottom, you will see the Q&A feature. That's where you can send any questions that you have for our panelists today. Then we also have the chat box, which is where the administrators and the staff will be sending out any announcements that we have or any information. I know there's a worksheet that will go along with the workshop today, so you guys can follow along and answer your own questions. Also, the webinar will be recorded and will be available on our past webinars page on the NSHSS website by Monday, so you guys can check it out there. If there's something that you want to go back over or any questions that you wanted to discuss again, you can do that. So while we're just waiting for everybody, I thought I might ask where people are from. Where are you guys from? Where are you joining us from today? Hit us up in the chat box, let us know.
I see one from Papua New Guinea.
Just to let you know, we love our trade students over here. So
Ohio, nice.
Oh, I see somebody else from Atlanta. Shout out to Atlanta.
I see one from Brooklyn.
Hey.
California. Oh, Jasmine, who has my first name as her last name, is from Oregon.
I see a lot of Florida and Virginia.
Great. Before we get started, the other question I just wanted to ask is if anyone is already involved in a movement in their community, if you volunteer for an organization, you can feel free to share that with us, or if there's something that you're specifically working on that you came to this workshop to learn more about how to build your movement in your community, that would be lovely to hear. So can answer some of those questions. But for now, I will go ahead and get started. I'm going to share my screen and turn the mic over to Layla St. Louis.
Hi, everyone. I'm the CEO-founder of Blackout Stamford. We are in Connecticut, well, Stamford, Connecticut to be exact. That's how part of our name came from. So today we are here to talk to you guys about how you can start a movement of your own and how to find your own passion. It could be range from racial justice, social justice work like we do, or just even volunteer work that you want to do in your community. I just want to redirect you guys to the chat. There is actually a form, a Google Sheet that goes along with our slides. So I just want you guys to open that up if you can. You can just click on the link, press file, and you click on make a copy, and you can make your own copy and edit it and answer the questions as we're going along. So. We started our organization back in May. After we watched the George Floyd video, a lot of our hearts were broken. But at first, we didn't know what we wanted to do. We were confused on if we wanted to do just a protest or a one-time thing or a one-time movement and just see if that could help. But Patrick actually had informed us about something called Blackout Week, or just Blackout in general, where non-POC doesn't buy anything from where POC doesn't buy anything from non-POC brands, companies, supermarkets, and stuff like that, to show that we are strong, we can be united, and more. And that's how we got our name. So that's how we actually started out. And then we were still stuck on what we wanted to do. So Patrick had actually told us that he wanted to do an Instagram live series that we had to put on hold, but we ended up doing a webinar series where we actually talked about the importance of voting, how race plays in education and the healthcare system. We also had a Q&A series where we had everyone come in and just talk about issues that were happening, whether it be in our community or their own community, and how they thought that they could go and tackle it and just bring awareness. And then on the last day of Blackout Week, we actually wanted to do a protest, and we started it, but we had to stop it because we had a tropical rainstorm come in. So we're planning on reevaluating that and seeing if we can end up doing that. Leslie, next slide, please. So we're here again, like I said, to talk about what your passion is and what you feel like you could give and pour your heart out into your world or your community or just the people around you. It could be a big thing, or it can be a tight-knit group where you just talk about like everything that's going on and ways to cope with whatever situations you are dealing with or whatever situations you see people dealing with around you. Next slide, please. So actually, this is where it starts to pour into the Google Docs. So if you guys have that open, you guys can answer these questions as I'm talking and just, yeah. So some of these questions are questions we realized that we were thinking of and had to answer when we were starting out. Like, what would we do if we had the money and all the time in the world? Or what we feel is what we're most passionate about, or what topics interest us the most. And while we were doing that, we were realizing that we actually bring a lot to the table individually that help us become more cohesive. Like Patrick he's great at art and design. Abby is great with networking. And I just like to think about plans and skills and how we can push that forward. So that's one thing you guys also have to think about. And you guys can answer that as well as as you are pushing forward what you want to do. Next slide, please. So one big factor that goes into creating whatever passion project or movement that you want to do is finding the right team. Because like I said, me, Abby, and Patrick all have different strengths and weaknesses, and we pull together to make what we want to happen. Next slide, please. So you have to cover your weaknesses with people. Like, you have to reevaluate yourself and be like, hey, personally, me, I suck at public speaking. I feel like I get really nervous in big crowds, and I'm not really good with like making logos and stuff like that and designing websites and stuff. But I know that I'm mostly a background person who can push stuff to go out and create ideas. And that's where Abby comes in. Like I said, Abby is great with networking. Abby is great with talking to people. She's great with making phone calls and all those things. Patrick is absolutely great with design. Actually, the background that I'm using is his design. He created it from scratch. He picked all the colors out and everything. He actually created all these slides that you guys are looking at right now. And he created the sheet that you guys are following along. So you guys really absolutely, like on the second page, no, the third page, I believe, you guys have to realize, like, reevaluate yourself and write down your weaknesses, and whoever you're going to bring in, if their strength match your weaknesses, then that is a great person to have, because wherever you're lacking, that person can pick up and push forward. Next slide, please. Oh, this is an important one, absolutely important. Doing your research. You actually have to find evidence, and so you guys can find ways to break whatever cycle that is happening in your community, or whatever movement that you guys are trying to come about to spread awareness. It is so important to have research to back up, especially if you are doing something like us, which is racial and social justice, because there are going to be people out there who oppose what you are saying, or opposed to whatever movement or passion project that you are starting, and you have to have stuff to back up what you're saying. And not only that, to educate people so that they can understand why you are doing what you're doing, and why it is so important to bring awareness to whatever you're doing. And yeah, that's a huge one. But that's my part, that's my spiel. I'm gonna pass it over to Abby.
Hi everyone, it's so nice to meet you. My name is Abnerline. My friends obviously call me Abby. I am the executive director for Blackout Stamford, and what that means is I basically, do what I have to do as in terms of, networking, finding people that can really help us get off the ground, and giving us platforms like NHSSS, which is giving us the ability to do this webinar today, and also just, delegating tasks to members and doing the best that I can with what I have. And so that's basically my job. And I'm excited to talk to you guys more about networking and the importance of it. A lot of people don't understand what networking really is. And that's why I'm here to just, break it down for everyone. So next slide, please. So now that we know what we're talking about, it's important to now know what it is after you figure out what it is that you want to do and your passion. And obviously it's not gonna be something that, you're gonna figure out in a day. You can be passionate about different things. You might want to do things that, intercorrelate, but it's important to have something that you feel like you can go out and make a difference about. And it's important that you do your research and all of those things come into hand. So next slide, please. So networking is definitely key. I started networking literally a couple of months ago during this whole quarantine thing. In the beginning, before quarantine, my school thought it was good if all the seniors and juniors had a LinkedIn page. And if you know what LinkedIn is, it's basically like a networking app. It's basically like a professional Instagram. That's how I describe it. You basically connect with people who are just as like-minded as you, and that can help you, whether it's with a job or you're looking for somewhere to volunteer. LinkedIn is such a powerful app, and you can meet awesome people on there that can really help you bring whatever that you want to the next level. And if you go on the worksheet, you'll also see information on where to fill in about networking. So networking basically is, connecting with people that can really help you to achieve your goals. A lot of the times we see people who are doing amazing things in life, have big businesses, and are achieving all their goals. And it's because of the power of networking. Sometimes people are not the smartest, some are not the most qualified, but it's because people know people. When you know people, it can really bring you on to the place that you want to go to. So making sure that you know how to network properly is also important, whether it's through sending an email or looking somebody online, looking at people who are interested in the same things that you're interested in. Also looking for people who have more experience than you have is also important. One thing you're going to have to learn about yourself is that you're not going to be able to do everything, and you're also not going to know how to do everything. And that's where that's where experienced people come in and help you with what you want to help. So you have to let go of that pride and ego sometimes, and really just let somebody help you, let somebody take you to the next level that you need to go on networking. And it's also to make sure that you network with the right people. You're not networking just to network, and also making sure that you are being consistent. Consistency is honestly another major part of networking. You have to be able to show that person like, hey, I'm willing to learn from you. I'm willing to take it to the next level, and making sure, well, you don't want to crowd them, but you're making sure that you have that they see that you're interested and that you're communicating with them and that you want to learn, and that because most people are not going to chase after you because they have things that they have to do themselves, and you have to know for yourself that this is something that I want to do and I need people to help me, so I'm going to push through and I'm going to get over my fear of communicating, because a lot of people don't network because they're afraid of talking to people, and that's okay because people have anxiety, and it could come across and it can inhibit things that you want to do, which is why if you have other people around you that can network, it's best to help let them handle it. If you feel like that's something that you really can't do and you're not good at, find someone who is good at networking, and and if you feel like you can collab with that person and you really know what you want to say but you just can't say it, have them say it. As long as you know what you're doing and how to do it, you should be fine. Next slide, please. And this part is extremely important with with whatever you're doing, whether it's trying to create a movement, whether it's homework, whether it's school. It's important to take care of yourself because racial justice, social justice is very, very difficult work, and you'll find yourself burnt out and, going in circles a lot of the times. And you have to realize that you come first before anything. It's important to remember that if you don't take care of yourself, you can't take care of somebody else. You can't pour into somebody's cup if you're half empty. So you got to make sure that I'm okay and that I can do what I need to do in order to help someone else. So making sure that, you're taking care of your body physically, you're taking care of your mind mentally, and making sure that you do what you need to do to de-stress, and just taking the time out of your day, whether it's watching a Netflix episode, going to take a walk, drinking some water. That's very underrated. People don't drink water and you guys have to stay hydrated. So making sure you drink water, eating healthy, talking to someone if you really feel like you need to just vent. There's so many ways that self-care comes in different ways in different areas, and don't be ashamed to take care of yourself. Don't feel bad because you're only going to get one body, one mind, so you have to take care of it. And I'm also going to pass it on to Layla because I'm pretty sure she would like to add something as well.
When it comes to this slide, like Abby said, we take it very seriously, especially in our generation. We find it that we want to help fix others, but we're not focused on also helping our own selves. So one thing that I find important, especially among us, if we see that another is struggling, especially with something or just has a lot going on, we will definitely try and go in and pick up the missing pieces to complete the puzzle so that they're not drowning by themselves. So also when you're looking for people to come in and help you, make sure that you all collectively have an agreement where it's just like when you see another one of you guys struggling, someone else or all of you be like, hey, like for instance, hey Patrick, I see that you have a lot of schoolwork going on. I see that you need to take some time off. Me and Abby will handle this portion. So I feel like that is also important. The next part goes to Patrick, so I'm going to pass that along to him.
So as important as self-care is, you have to make sure that the words that you are using are being used wisely. So the most important thing when it comes to any type of social justice work, whether any passion in general, even if it's a company, you have to make sure that you're marketing yourself completely completely properly, because when it comes to your ideas, you can have the best idea in the world, but if you can't say it to anyone, it will never come to fruition. So finding your voice is super important, and this is where I come in. So my name is Patrick. I am the art director of Blackout Stamford. I created the slides that you see before you, the digital background, as Layla stated. So if you notice, down to the colors and the imaging that I picked, everything that we do at Blackout Stamford is super intentional in the message that we are creating. Our slogan at Blackout Stamford is education over ignorance. We want to make sure that we're not attacking you. We want to make sure that you're welcomed and open. Blackout Stamford is for everyone. It is for everyone who is marginalized in their community, everybody who is marginalized in their space. We create a safe space for everyone. So if you notice, even down to the imaging that we use, all the shapes are very soft, they're very open. The colors that we use are super inviting. We use like lots of warm colors. So yellow is our main brand color. Next slide, please. So when I was learning how to do branding, I'm classically trained. I go to a trade school. I study graphic design and photography, and we are classically trained in company branding. So this is the same structure that a lot of your favorite big companies like Target and Walmart use when they're deciding how they want to brand themselves. So if you want to do something, you do it right. Do it like how the pros do it. So this is what we went and decided on before we did anything regarding our message or going on social media, because we are a majority social media branded movement. So the culture, what did your project act like? If you see on the worksheet, you want to make sure that you want to think from the perspective of the person you're affecting. So if it's a business, you want to think like the customer. If you're a movement or if you're doing social justice work, what is the person you're trying to help feel? What is going to attract them? So who are you serving? For Blackout Stamford, one of the major things we wanted to make sure is we were serving the marginalized communities in our town. We wanted to make sure that we were open and trying to attract the people that we wanted. So what are you trying to say? Like I said, our slogan is education over ignorance. So we tried to make sure that everything we were saying was super intentional. This goes into all parts of your brand, from the captions that you use to the design. Even the webinar, when we were deciding on how we were going to say it, we wanted to make sure that our tone wasn't too harsh. The feel, one of the major things that attracts people is sometimes they're not sure why they're attracted to things. It's how you feel about a certain thing. There's a quote from Maya Angelou is, people don't remember how you look or what you say, but they remember how you make them feel. So you want to make sure that when you are gone, that person feels something from your brand. So we wanted to make sure that people always felt comfortable with Blackout Stamford. We wanted them, whenever they came to an event of ours, or if they went to a webinar, we wanted something to stick with them. So this also leads into making sure your impact is correct. What do you want your impact to be on the world? So Blackout Stamford, we decided that we wanted to educate people. That was our impact, and we focused a lot on education. When we were doing our webinar, we sought out people in education to talk about their experience in the field. We sought out people who worked in different sectors like medical. We had some doctors and nurses come on to talk about how racial injustices affect every part of the world and every part of business and sectors, regarding like even charitable work or social justice work. It affects everything. So we want to make sure that we're impacting the people that we're serving. And then X factor. So no matter what you are doing, whether it be social justice work, whether it be a company, whether it be your own personal self, there is an X factor to it. There is something that makes you uniquely you. There might be 1,000 other people. There's Black Lives Matter. There is the NAACP. There are so many people that do what we do, but none of them have a Layla. None of them have an Abner. None of them have a Patrick. You are uniquely you, and what makes your project special is something that should be cherished. You should know when you go into any networking environment or when you're just branding yourself in general, know what makes you special and capitalize on that. So for us, we're all young people of color. We're all from marginalized communities. We wanted to make sure that we know how you feel. We know how the world makes you feel. And we wanted to make sure that you were comfortable with us and you were in a place that would allow you to learn. Next slide, please. So this is some of the brand work that we've done. So these are our brand buzzwords in the corner. So for culture, we want to make sure that we were super inclusive. Blackout Stamford is a movement for everybody. That's why we like to use diverse imaging. You see in the center for the education webinar that we did. We used a Black girl reading a book. The Black Experience webinar, this was our overall main branding image. We wanted to communicate that we were trying to make unity between different races and different social groups. So we used diverse imaging, people that conveyed that imaging, people that conveyed that idea that we wanted to capitalize on. So the customer, in this case, we were targeting people that are our age, Gen Z, the people that are actually the movers and the shakers and going out in the streets and doing things. So we wanted to make sure that we capitalize on youthful energy. So we used bright yellow. Yellow is a color that is associated with energy and just fun and happy things. We also use very sleek and modern type. So that's something super important. Text is one of the biggest things when it comes to branding, because while you're reading it, there's always a subtext to any font that you use. So you want to make sure that you're conveying everything intentionally. The voice, we wanted to make sure that it was super educational, making sure that we knew exactly what we were talking about. We did proper research, all of that. The feel, again, we wanted to make sure it was super modern. So we use very sleek, sharp shapes. Things that kind of remind you of like computers or just technology in general. That's why a lot of the branding has squares in it. Impact. So we wanted to make sure that you learned a lot of the words say educate or things that have to do directly to you, experience, life. Those are things that are directly equated to learning and directly equated to the person we're affecting. So the final part, our X factor. So again, our X factor is youth. The thing that makes us so unique is that what no one's doing is we are young people. We are the people that are actually being affected by this, and we are the people that's going to take over the next generation. So we wanted to make sure that, hey, while you feel this way, there are other people like that that feel the same way you do. And we're trying to change that. So come along with us, hop on the boat, and we're going to take you to where you need to go. So we wanted to convey that in every single aspect. So it's important whenever you're doing to be intentional. If you take nothing away from this, you don't have to have the best design skills in the world. You don't have to be a professional, but taking away that you're intentional in everything that you do is the most important thing. Next slide. So this is the end of our slideshow. We're going to open it up to Q&A after, but make sure you follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. And if you have any questions at all, please take down our email. Feel free to message us. If you're working with any initiatives, please feel free to message us at any time asking for advice. We're also going to be opening up a new thing on our social media where we're going to be partnering with Black-owned businesses. So if you have any Black-owned businesses you'd like to support, please send them to us. Thank you.
One thing I would love to emphasize is that, like Patrick said, Blackout Stanford is for everyone. We're not just focusing on marginalized communities. We want to focus on, well, down the line, communities that are being strongly affected, demographics that are being strongly affected by certain situations. So once we move on from, say, the Black Lives Matter protests or whatever have you, we want to work on LGBTQ rights, healthcare for all, and more. It's not just for a certain group of people.
And to add on to what Layla said, you know, it's important to just realize that, you know, just because you might not be affected by something doesn't mean you can't speak up about it. Don't be afraid to speak on injustices, even if you're not impacted by it yourself. You know what's going on, you know what's happening, and if you feel like you have to say something, say something. And it's sometimes hard when you're trying to say something and people don't agree with you, but deep down, if you know you're doing the right thing, then the things that you're doing will align at the end of the day because you're doing what is right. And if any of you are interested in partaking in Blackout Stanford or would like to get more information on how you can possibly join, whether you live in Florida or Tennessee, please contact us. You know, we're willing to hear your ideas, see if you have any questions or anything about the presentation as well. And yeah, we're just going to move on to Q&A right now. Thank you all.
One question that I just got was, how do you balance creating a brand or a movement in school? And I just answered it, but I just want to bring it up to everyone because you guys might all have the same question. Just creating a brand and a movement takes a lot of time and a lot of passion. So what we try to do is we try and work on schoolwork first while also staying in the momentum and checking social media for new things that are happening to keep up with and trying to find a solution on the side. But I want to emphasize that your mental health and schoolwork always comes first. So you guys should also always focus on that aspect first.
Especially with the aspect of social media, one of the questions we got was, how do you deal with disagreements, or how do you deal with people not aligning with your overall goal? We've had experiences on social media where people have just straight up attacked us for no reason. We've had experiences where people have just straight up disagreed with us or told we're not telling the truth. But the point of the matter is when it comes down to your core being and your core of your brand, the core of what you're doing, you know it's right. If you were able to start this, if you were able to come up with the idea, if you were able to have the energy in the beginning to start it, then you know it's right. So whenever anything negative happens to that, like us, we always come together and are like, okay, well, why did we start this? What made us start this? And that's what will motivate you. That is what will invigorate you again.
I just seen a question that says, are you guys in any other clubs at school while you're managing your schoolwork and the movement? So we're all seniors. So of course we're in different clubs and trying to manage, getting into college and our SATs and everything. But we are heavily involved, not only in our community, but in different school clubs. Like me and Abnerline are in a public health internship that is based in Nigeria and stuff like that. So we have a lot of internships and clubs that go on, but it's hard to manage, but we try our best and just carry each other.
I would also like to add on to Layla. I feel like, a lot of people try and tell you what you can't and cannot do. So I feel like if you feel like you can take the extra pressure, you feel like this is something that I can do, I want to do, go for it. Don't listen to people who are telling you, you probably can't do this right now. If you feel like it's the right thing for you to do, if you feel like you have the mental and physical capacity to do it, go ahead. And if it doesn't work out, then put it aside and try pick it up later. It's not the end of the world if you can't do something right now. There's always going to be issues, there's always going to be problems in the world, and they're just going to be there waiting for you. So take your time with whatever it is that you need to take your time with. I know sometimes it can be stressful for me. I'm still working on time management skills. Trust me, it's not easy, but I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying my best with what I have and taking baby steps. It's not about reaching to the end goal. It's also, living in the moment and realizing the impact that you're trying to create and just realizing that you're doing a great thing. You're doing something and it's something that you should be proud of, because a lot of people would like to do something and they probably can't, they physically can't, or they believe they can't, which is also two different things. But be proud of yourself if you're doing something, and even if it's small. When we started our webinar series, not that many people came, but look at us now. You guys are here and we're it's just steps. You got to just keep walking, keep trusting yourself, keep trusting the process, and you'll be where you want to be as long as you're consistent and you're motivated. And you're always not going to be motivated, but that's why you have people around you to continue to motivate you. So do what you need to do.
Especially when it comes to a lot of people are asking like, how do you deal with so much of the pressure and the drama of all of it? We take breaks. A lot of the time when things get too hard and things get rough, leading up to this webinar, our social media was inactive for over I think 2 weeks. We recently just are relaunching our social media campaigns just last night. That was the first post we've made in over a couple of weeks, because when things hit the fan and you feel like, oh my God, I really need to reevaluate what I'm doing, take the time to do it. You don't have to meet this arbitrary standard of, oh, I have to hustle so hard that I'm crying or I have no energy. That's not something that you want to go down, because that's a self-destructive path. Take breaks when you need them and reevaluate when you need them. That's why it's so important to have a team, because when I'm too tired or if Layla's had a horrible day at her internship, we lift each other up and we pull each other up when we need it. And if I'm having a horrible day and I just don't feel like making the graphics for today, even Abby will take over and be like, okay, I'll do the social media for today and I'll take care of all the stories. Just make sure you trust your teammates.
One question I have seen is, what is the most effective way to reach out to people to support your movement? We do a lot of social media branding. Like, even when we started out small, we were very, very small, may I mind you. We started out with like 5 people and then ended up narrowing it down to just us 3. But we stay and keep up with our own social medias where we post our own stuff. Even if not many people, you guys have to like keep pushing forward. Keep pushing your branding, keep pushing your posters, whether it be a small poster saying, hey guys, come to my little group where we can talk about certain things. You just have to keep on pushing out what you want to push out and what goal at the end of the day that you want to complete. So.
To also add on to that, it's important to just really, like Patrick said, take breaks. Not everyone is going to agree with you. Not everyone, some people, what I've realized in doing this is the people closest to you probably won't support you. And it's an unfortunate truth, only because people like to see results, and they like to see results now without doing the work. But if you are truly passionate about something, you'll see results, even if it's tiny celebrations. And you might have 10 steps back, like when our protests, we were all disappointed, but it's just something that we took into consideration, that we're not going to win all the time, and that's okay, because we can learn from things that didn't go as well, and we can prepare for the future and see what we can do differently and reevaluate. So don't always be discouraged if something doesn't go your way. Just see, what can I take from this? What is this trying to teach me? And you go from there, and you'll see things move a lot differently when you look at it from a different perspective.
One of the questions we got from Jessica Phillips says, we're thinking of starting a Black student union at our PWI school. So do you guys have any suggestions on how we can get that up and running successfully? Your best bet when it comes to situations, especially when you're trying to start something within an organization that already exists, like a school or a college or anything like that, is go and make sure that you're going about the proper channels. That is the biggest thing. When we were organizing a protest, we made sure that we were working with the police in our area to have the proper permits. We even actually literally sent them a map of the town and crossed out and showed exactly the movements and where we were going to avoid any issues. So if you feel like your institution is going to support you, there's always one underground teacher or club member or someone who is a little bit okay with bending the rules. So try and find that one teacher. Usually, we actually have me and Admiralene are part of our student council. Our social studies teacher supported us a lot and helped us throughout this time. So look for the teachers and look for the people who are willing to help you.
There's one question here from Crystal, I believe her name is. It says, were there times where you felt so overwhelmed you contemplated whether to give up? If so, what made you keep going? There are definitely times that we felt overwhelmed. Like Patrick said, we took a break from our Instagram for a couple weeks from posting. Like when we got a lot of backlash from certain groups of people, we felt like giving up. But like Patrick said, we regrouped with each other. We talked about what was going on. We took care of our mental health, and we just realized that the picture is bigger than what it is to like plain view, to just your sight. You have to keep pushing because there's other people rather than us who are feeling the way that we're feeling, and we just have to help everyone as we can, like as possible.
One of the questions from Jasmine Leslie says, I'm an early college student in high school, but I want to join in working, doing schoolwork and household problems and everything on top of that. Do you guys think it would be putting too much on myself if I do something like this with everything going on already? Like we stated, mental health is always the number one priority, but if you feel the need and if it's calling to your spirit for you to do this, you always can do little things. One of the things that we made sure that we wanted to do is start out small. So we just started like looking at people in our area and see what they were doing. If you are a little bit unsure about where you want to start, there are the best way to start is always social media. Even starting like a little Instagram account, even if it has like 5 followers, those 5 people you're connecting with, you may change their life. I have a friend who goes to a private school, and there are people who run accounts that just talk about the racial injustices that they face there, and they've created a community and actually have caused major change at that institution. They cause them to reevaluate how they're treating their people of color students and how they're treating their indigenous students. So just doing things that are small now can have a big effect later down the line.
I would like to also add on that activism comes in so many different forms. You do not need to do a protest. You do not have to go out. That's something that you feel like that's something that you don't want to do, you're not comfortable doing, especially during COVID-19. You don't have to do that. If you're interested in music, if you're interested in dance, there's so many ways to express your activism. It's literally crazy. There's so many different pathways and takeaways that you can do. You can write a blog. You can do, I don't know, there's so many things you can do. Just find what, calls you to your activism. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing because everybody else is doing it. So find something that you think is what's best for you. Think about something that you're passionate about. If you're passionate about cooking, figure something out. I mean, it's gonna take time, but cooking, I don't know. You can sell. You can make a bake sale. Cookies for Justice. Sell the cookies and donate them to an organization. There's so many different things you can do. There's so many different ideas, and you can just make it your own in your own way. So that's what I was gonna say. There's also another question asking about how we put together ideas virtually. I think with COVID-19, everything has been a little bit shaky, and it's been difficult with just trying to even, it's like you can't see each other because of COVID-19. I mean, I haven't seen Patrick. I've seen Layla, but I haven't seen Patrick since March. So, it's really difficult, but which is the power of the technology. I mean, you can go down a Zoom, get on a FaceTime, and just talk about what you want to do and just, figure out the best way you can do it. I think, right now, virtual Zoom university is something that is very popular in our time. And I think it's not going away anytime soon. So I think figuring out the best way you can use these resources. There's Zoom, there's FaceTime, there's WhatsApp, Skype, so many different ways you can talk and share ideas. And it's also easier because you can network with somebody in Tennessee and just get them on a Zoom call, talk about how they can get involved. So it has its benefits and it has its downsides, but if you make it work, it will work. So just figuring out what works best for you and how to go about it.
There was one question that said, did you need to do legal work to be considered an organization, or did you just promote yourselves on social media? So we just started promoting ourselves on social media because we are fairly new, but we would like to actually become a nonprofit. So we have to fill out a 501c3, which is soon to come. So
Just to add on to what Layla said, you can start something that doesn't have to be necessarily an organization. There's things called activist collectives or artist collectives, people who are just groups of people literally just doing things. You don't have to be nationally recognized or even recognized in your state by the law. It's a matter of protesting. At least in the United States, you have a right and sometimes even a duty to do what you feel you need to say. Freedom of speech is a wonderful thing, especially on the internet. So you don't need any type of legal paperwork or anything. Now, when it comes to collecting money, that's a different story. As long as you're not making any money off of it, we don't pay ourselves. We do this for free. We do this because we love it. Eventually, yeah, if we get big enough, we'd love to pay ourselves and love to actually make this a part of like our income. But we're not a 501c3 yet. We're not there yet. But baby steps. Another question we got was asking about how we work with like social media and how we use it. Social media is a big part of our brand. When we started, I wanted to make sure I come from an immunocompromised family, especially with COVID. My mom has lupus. So I was super protective over her and making sure that I wasn't going to contract anything. So that's where the idea for the web series came from, trying to target people who maybe didn't feel comfortable doing protests. So one of the programs that we use called Later. Later is a wonderful tool for doing social media. We're actually looking for a social media director right now, but it's a tool that allows you to schedule posts when you're not actually on Instagram. So me, Layla, and Abdeline, we're all in AP early college experience classes. We're taking a bunch of different courses. So this allows us to prioritize other things while actually staying active on social media.
And another thing I want to point out is we are just like you guys. Everyone watching, we are just like you. We are not these, I don't know, but we are just like you. We struggle just like you. We cry just like you. We eat just like you. We go to sleep just like you. And, but each person is unique in their own way. And once you find people and you feel like can help you pull something off the ground, it's a great feeling. And, finding tools necessary to create a movement through research. We had no idea. We were like, how are we going to do this? We are like, this makes no sense. But, we pulled through, we did our research. Google is going to be your best friend. Just figure out, what it is that you want to do, how to do it. There's so many research out there that can help you, especially during this time with everything that's going on. You can find resources, you can find people. There's people out there waiting for you guys to start something. They're willing to help you. There's so many different organizations in your community that you probably don't even realize that are small, and they're looking for people. They're looking for youth that have a voice and can really bring something to a new evolution. So please find different ways you can get involved. Sometimes you don't even have to start something. Sometimes you can just join something that's already there and figure out, how can I learn from this? How can I learn from this organization? And maybe then start my organization. I think that's something that a lot of people don't realize is you can just join something and then take notes, steal notes, pay attention, steal strategies and techniques and use that for your own organization, and just just figure out ways you can really just bring what you want to the next level, whether it's through joining something, talking to people, networking. There's so many different alleyways you can start your own movement. So it's just looking for the tools that suit your specific passion. So, yeah.
There's one question. It says, have you reached a standstill? Has your movement have a point where there is nothing that happens, and how do we combat it? So of course we reach a standstill. I feel like every starting up business or organization reaches a standstill where they feel like what they're doing isn't working. But if that point does come, you guys have to keep pushing forward, because there's going to be people who don't want to see you succeed. There's going to be people who don't see your goal or doesn't see results fast enough and feel like, hey, like I'm going to jump off of this and I'm just going to go somewhere else. You have to believe in your passion and what you want to do and whatever your end goal is, and keep pushing forward. Don't let anything drag you down. Whatever people have to say, just keep pushing forward.
To add on to what Layla said, I think for a very long time we just took a break because it was just like it was getting overwhelming, and it's okay if it gets overwhelming, because this is something that's racism, and that's what we've been working on for this past couple of months. It was institutionalized and systemic racism, and it comes through so many different ways, through the prison system, through voting, through housing, education, and we were realizing all these different ways that people are affected through it. And it got overwhelming, and it got to the point where we were thinking about our lives and just thinking about how other people are living as well, to the point where we're just like, we need to take a break because this is a lot and we just need to digest. We just need to digest this information and figure out what we want to do next, but also giving ourselves a mental break of all the information that we're seeing, because it's sad and it's unfortunate that a lot of people are going through this. So it's important to just take that information in and realize it, and realizing the people that have passed away in the hands of police brutality, these are their stories. These were real people, not just a stepping stone to a movement. These were real people that lost their lives, and I think it's important that we take that in and we mourn the lives of people that were lost, because at the end of the day, these are real people, and it could have been me, it could have been my sister, it could have been my mom. So really just being empathetic and just realizing like, hey, this is unfortunate, this is sad, and I'm just gonna sit with the fact that someone just lost their life, and I'm gonna be respectful, and I'm gonna take a break, and then I'm gonna work so this will never happen again. I wanna reach to a point where racism isn't a topic, and it doesn't have to be something that we have to talk about. And I know that sounds really outlandish and crazy, but I'm willing to try. And I think if you're willing to try to do things that you want to do, then go ahead. But that's something, I mean, it's not impossible. It's definitely going to take a lot of work, but we just have to get to the point where it's you join a group of people who are willing and who think the same way as you, and being surrounded by positive energy, people who think the same way as you, and just realizing like, hey, this is something that we want to do, but we also have to realize that this is happening right now. COVID-19 is happening right now, and we have to really look at it from a perspective like this is happening. This is not something that's just, a lot of times we just see things on social media and we're like, oh, look at that, another dead person. And it's like, we're so numb to things that are happening that is because we're seeing it daily. But it's important to take a step back and realize like someone just died, and that's unfortunate and that's sad, and just letting yourself feel the emotions as well. So that's why we took a break. That's why it was a bit, and people are like, well, what's going on? And you're like, we need to take a break. And don't let people let you feel bad for taking a break if you need a break. So yeah.
One of the comments stated that we're motivating a lot of people. We just want to let you know, the reason we're so adamant about this is because we all experienced something horrible that caused us to be this way. All of us have felt like the other at one point, and it's important to remember that even when you feel like you're the most alone that you ever will be probably in your entire life, there's always someone who's going through the exact same thing as you. Even if you might seem like this is so unique to me, it really isn't. Layla and Abdurleen have bonded so much over each other about experiencing colorism in their youth and talking about different things to just affect them as women. And even some of the things I experienced, Abdurleen has experienced, and Layla has experienced. We're all Haitian Americans. We've experienced different just situations and where people have been straight up discriminatory towards us. I've also experienced discrimination within my own community. I'm Latinx, I'm Puerto Rican. I've experienced people just straight up denying my Puerto Rican heritage. There's so many different situations where it feels so isolating and alone, but remember that there's always going to be someone that is going through the same thing as you. You just have to find them. So take the initiative, take the step up and be like, hey, I know there's someone out there like me. I'm going to find them. And that's what we did with Blackout Stanford. There are so many people that have come to us and be like, hey, you're inspiring us. Hey, we want to join. Hey, we want to do this. We want to do that. It comes from stepping up first.
I see one question that says, what results have you gotten so far from your beginnings in the march with Blackout? So actually, me and Abby have been on multiple panels so far. We actually found organizations within our own community that we didn't even know have the same end goal, like Live Girl. We're both members of this thing called Live Girl, which is in Connecticut and is opening its doors worldwide to everyone in the US. And I've been on one of their panels talking about racial and social justice. It just has opened so many doors into like wanting to educate more people and just pushing out our end goal and stuff like that. So
to also add on to what Layla said, sometimes opportunities open and you don't even realize it because it's like you're so focused on just getting there, and so many things are happening and so many people want to join, and so many people, and you don't even realize that you started something and that people want to take part in it and that you should be proud. Sometimes I'm like, I don't say that I'm proud of myself enough, and it's like you should be proud of yourself. Everyone here should be proud of themselves for taking the time out of a Saturday to come and to learn about how to make a movement. You should be proud of yourself and just happy that you want to do something for your community, you want to do something for your people, and just swim in that, just lay in it, just absorb how amazing you are, and just live with that passion in your heart. And I feel like once you do so many things will open. People will see how passionate you are about something, and they will want to help you. People will want to help you. You just have to figure out how to help yourself first and how to help the people around you. So do that, and everything else will align. Even if some things might not align, at the end of the day, everything will align, if that makes sense. Don't worry about, things that happen that might not work out for you, because at the end of the day, um, you know, everything will come together. So yeah.
As far as I saw some questions regarding social media. My phone has been buzzing off the hook. Thank you guys so much for all the different notifications that you guys are sending to us and supporting us on Blackout Stanford's Instagram. As far as let me be a tech nerd for a little bit. It's kind of my specialty. Social media. Doing your research for people in your time zone and doing your research on people in your country, seeing when and where these like kind of peak hours are. So, for example, for us, between the hours of 6 and 6, when everyone's kind of like a little bit early in the morning from like groggy from sleep, they're always scrolling on their phone, or in between classes, those are kind of like peak hours for us. And then all the way up to 6 p.m. So looking and seeing where these peak hours are for you in your community is probably the best way as far as I can give you with social media. Hashtags. The program that we use later gives us a list of generated hashtags that has all of like the top hashtags for our sector, which is social justice work and movement and just like Black Lives Matter work. And as far as different things regarding engagement, engage with other people. The best way to lift yourself up is by lifting other people. So engage with other people that do the same thing that you do. They'll help you promote yourselves. One of the things that we're looking forward to doing is with our Black business series on social media, we're looking to promote other Black businesses in our area and abroad, like just across the US in general, that people can buy through online. But they would also be helping us because we're gaining traction from their audience. It's a give and take. Networking with people is such an amazing thing, and it'll always help you.
Yeah, to add on to what Patrick said, networking and just really helping other people generally makes you feel better. Helping people, being kind. Being kind is so underrated, and I don't know why, because it's one of the best feelings anyone could have, to make someone else just feel like gold. And that makes you feel good as well. Kindness is contagious and it spreads like wildfire. And that's something I always say. If you be kind to someone else will be kind to someone, and it just spreads. And we need a lot more kindness in this world. So if you can be kind to someone, if you can repost their little lip gloss business, if you can repost their little t-shirt business, it'll become a big t-shirt business. It'll become a big lip gloss business. And I know anything my friends do, even if it's random people online, I try and support them, because why not? Why not support somebody? Why not give them, it's not going to take, kindness doesn't cost anything. Reposting somebody's business page doesn't cost me a dime, so why not do it? Why not help somebody and put a smile on their face, keep them motivated? Just do things that are kind to people. Just try your best to be a good person. Sometimes you might always not want to be kind, I don't know, but just do it anyway. Because it'll make somebody else feel better, and it can help somebody else feel better. So just do what you can to make other people feel better.
Just before I really want to make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest, all of that. We love interacting with you. We love seeing what you guys are doing. Send us images of what's going on in your community. We love to see it. We love reposting your guys' content. We want to interact with everybody. So if you're starting an initiative, so show us. We might even repost you. Just make sure you're sharing things with us. Feel free to interact with us via email. If you have any questions, please feel free to email us. It is in the chat box. Also, if you are a business owner, or if you know somebody who has a Black-owned business, even a person of color business in general, we support everybody here at Blackout Stanford. So make sure you're interacting with us, and we will definitely help you.
And for all you that are eligible to vote, I'm going to tell you, and I'm only going to tell you once, please register and please vote. This election is a very important one, And it's important that you guys go out and vote about things that you're passionate about, things that you want to see change, things that you probably don't want to see change. But vote anyway, vote for whoever you think is best that represents this country. And vote also locally. Vote for people you think locally can bring a change in your community. Local elections are very important, and you should definitely look into it if you are eligible to vote. Register. I know you probably all go on social media and you see Instagram and Snapchat telling you to vote. It's because it's important. If you're seeing your social media telling you to vote, it's probably because it's really important, and you guys need to go and do what you guys got to do for your community. So please vote, please register. If you don't know how to register, ask somebody. I'm pretty sure Instagram will explain it to you. I'm pretty sure Snapchat will explain it to you. So there's so many different resources. If you even type in voting, there's so many information that pops up. So take advantage of your voice and make sure you are at the polls November 3rd. And yes, go vote. I can't vote because I'm only 17. So if I could vote, I would vote a million times. But even that's not realistic. I can't vote, but vote for me. Go vote. Go, express your what you want to see. So go do that.
Actually, soon we are going to be launching a vote series. There is a website. Someone is saying whenweallvote.org. These are great websites, great resources that you guys can use for voting. We're going to be launching a campaign about voting soon on our social media. I personally have pledged to vote once I turn 18. We're going to be releasing a website where you can enter in your birthday, and they will text you on the midnight of your birthday to register to vote, and you can do it then. So make sure you guys are looking into these things. Make sure you guys are paying attention, and please vote if you are eligible.
Yes, like Abby and Patrick said, please go vote. I can't vote. I'm the youngest out of the both of them, all three of us. So I'm still 16 technically, so I can't vote yet. But I urge you all to go out there and vote because, like Abby said, this election is one of the most important.
And if you guys have any questions about the worksheet as well, that you guys have access to, please contact us if you don't understand something, if something doesn't make sense. We can definitely, we're all home. Coronavirus, everyone quarantined. We're not, as busy as it seems. I'm on my phone 24/7. I will answer you if you, reach out. If you guys have any questions about networking and how to start your movement, please just send us a chat, send us an emoji, whatever you feel is necessary, and just contact us and we'll get to you guys.
One thing I also want to emphasize more is that our thing also, again, I just want to emphasize it because I see people flowing in and out. We are open to everyone. We do not just focus on racial and social justice. It's not just for that forever. We just focus on whatever issue is affecting our community and our world as it is. Like I said last time, we want to expand out and just reach all issues, whether it be touching on the indigenous women that are being kidnapped and murdered and all of that, or the LGBTQ rights that are trying to be taken away, or healthcare for all, homelessness, all of that. We want to be able to tackle everything and keep Black out Stamford for everyone. We want to be able to have it all over, not just Stamford. We want to have a Blackout Atlanta, Blackout Alaska, whatever it may be. So we wanted to keep it open for everyone and every issue.
I see a question from Hannah. It says, when networking, do we suggest we start small for advice by consulting teachers at school about our ideas? I think, if you feel like you want to start small by even just networking with your teachers, do so. I have my teachers on LinkedIn when I need them. I can't get through their emails. I get their LinkedIn because I have you as a connection. So, network with your teachers. I also have my principal on LinkedIn. She keeps up tabs on me when I post something. I don't know. It's great to have feedback about anything that you want to do. And I think, your school is probably that great environment where you can get advice from, because that's where you are all the time, and people there can really support you, your teachers. even if they're busy and they probably have, if you go up to them and tell them like, hey, I want to start something, they'll probably be like, are you serious? Where's the cameras? Like, I've been waiting this for my whole entire life for a student to come up to me and ask me for advice. A lot of the teachers, they really like interacting with students. So do what you can. If you want to start small through just your school, a lot of these teachers have networks with like other people that have businesses and different organizations. You'd be surprised. Your teachers are very popular. So just contact them, contact people that you think can help you. And it's just, networking is like a stream. Once you connect with somebody, somebody else knows somebody, and it's just all fun and games once you do it. It's awesome to connect and network with people. So do it the way you think is best for you.
One thing that I would like to add on is, if you feel like you are not up to just having one of these things, starting your own passion project and being one of the main people, you guys can also, like Abby said, Google is going to be your best friend. You guys can research groups in your own community that are doing things and need new members, or just join into anything. It could be a little club at school that you guys start, whatever it may be. You guys do not need to start your own passion project at all. You guys could just join another. The more the merrier, I should say, I guess.
And you can definitely join Blackout Stanford, get some tips from us. We can help you if you like to start, or you just want to start off and just see for yourself and feel an organization. You can start with us. And if you want to start your own, we can definitely help you do that as well. Anything that you guys need, we're here. So, just ask questions. Asking questions is one of the best things you can ever do in life, because if you never ask questions, how will you ever know? I mean, there's Google, yes, but sometimes asking questions to a person and getting that interaction from an actual person helps. I'm pretty sure there's a study on it, research, I don't know. But ask people around in your community about, what I can do to better my community, what I can do to help the people around me. And, they'll give you answers. Some people don't have all the answers, but some people have lots of answers. So just ask people, ask us, ask anyone that you feel can really help you do what you can.
I see a lot of people are confused as to how we all know each other. So we actually all started out at the same high school, which is J.M. Wright Technical High School in Connecticut. I was in culinary arts. Abnerline is in health technology. I was going to say health tech manager, sorry. She is actually a certified nursing assistant. And as Patrick said, he is in digital media. So I realized later down the line, actually the end of my sophomore year, that I wanted to be a doctor, a pediatric surgeon to be exact, sorry. So I realized that the field that I was in at my trade high school just wasn't it, and I just was not, it didn't match up with my end goals, so I ended up transferring. So that's how come we all actually know each other.
Yeah, Layla left us alone with me and Patrick, but we love her anyway. We love her anyway.
Unrelated thing. If you guys are looking to get involved, we are looking for a social media manager currently. This is what we're talking about by covering your strengths and weaknesses. I suck at social media management. It is not my strong suit, but I love graphic design. So if you are very savvy with social media, if you love posting on Snapchat and Instagram and all of that, we need people. We're looking for people right now. So feel free to slide into our DMs, slide into our email. Again, a lot of people are asking where to find a lot of our contact information. If you go into the Zoom webinar chat, it is right there for you to click on, copy and paste, do whatever you need to do. It is also, I think, on your sheet. I'm not sure. But make sure you contact us. We're always looking for new people.
Yes, we would like to have as many people as possible. Like I said, one of our end goals is actually to have Blackout Stanford, and not only in the US, but around the world, because we know that our community has certain struggles, but not every community is the same. So we would like to have anyone from wherever.
And guys, also what I want to add on is to dream big. I don't know if this is a cliche for most people, but I truly believe in dreaming big. I feel like if you can dream it, you can do it. And a lot of people live life without dreaming big, and it becomes something that, they just don't feel like they can do much because they don't have a strong mindset to do so. And once you build a mindset of you can do whatever, there's nothing that you can't and you won't do. And I really, really do believe in that. So if you want to do something, if you want to be the president of the United States, if you want to travel to Mars, you can do it. You just have to be consistent. You just have to have goals and a plan. And sometimes life doesn't plan the way it's supposed to, the way that we would like it to. But if you continue on the path that you would like, you can do so. So when we say we want a blackout Stanford everywhere, we mean we want a blackout Stanford everywhere. So, it's not something that we're just saying to say. It's something that we see on our vision board. It's something that we sleep and we think about. It's something that's always on our mind because it's something that we truly want to see. So just dream big and put in the work, and everything else will just, fall through.
I have one completely unrelated thing, but I just want to say for all my high school seniors out there, make sure you guys filled out your FAFSA forms. Make sure you guys are checking out the NSHSS website. Not only that, for scholarships, Scholarship Owl, Niche, bold.org. Make sure you guys are doing all those things that you need, because we realize that even though we're doing this, we still have lives outside of our own passion projects. And I want you guys to focus on school more than anything.
Yes, that is definitely one of the biggest priorities here at Blackout Stanford. We are all very involved in our educational communities. All of us are involved in separate clubs. Me and Abby are part of student council. Layla is doing an internship with the senator along with Abner Lane, which we are so proud of. Making sure that you guys focus on your studies is super important, even if you're not going to college. I go to a trade school. Me and Abner Lane go to a trade school. We all started out in the trades, so we know how important it is for you, even if you don't go to college, to educate yourself. There are so many people who are completely successful without college or without a degree. There are certificate programs you can get. For all my artists like me, build your portfolio. Look for people in your town or wherever you need. There are so many organizations that are starving for social media content, that are starving for commercial content. You can even record with your iPhone. I met a college admissions counselor at NYU who said there are students that she's admitted that have taken photos with iPods, but because they have the talent and because they had the wherewithal to create and they had the ideas, they were able to get in and they were able to get full rides and they were able to get amazing scholarships. So don't let not having the proper equipment or not having the proper situation discourage you. You make the proper situation. You make the proper equipment. Make do with what you have.
I see a question here that says, what is the FAFSA? FAFSA is the federal student aid that you get from the government. If you live in the U.S. or plan on going to college in the U.S., you have to fill it out. It opened October 1st, I believe. So you guys would need your parents' 1040s or your 1040 EZ, your W-2s if you have a job, and your parents' W-2, so that they can see your income, your household income. If you're dependent, just to range how much money they would be able to give you for college, and to see how much you would have to come up with for whatever college you are going to.
And I also see a question about what inspired us to start this movement. So I guess each of us can talk a little bit about what really started our initial, spark. I'll go first. Ever since growing up, I've been bullied for having dark skin in my community. Colorism is basically when you're treated differently for having a dark complexion in your community of the same race. And it doesn't just happen with Black people, it happens in Asian cultures and Hispanic cultures as well. Colorism is a serious issue that not a lot of people like to talk about, and it's something that has impacted me greatly. And it's something that also gave me a voice. It's something that also has, gave me a way of, I want to be a dermatologist, which is basically like a skin, hair, and nail doctor. And I specifically want to be this doctor for people who don't have representation in their communities. There's not a lot of Black dermatologists, and I want to be a Black dermatologist for the people that need a Black dermatologist. So it's also, even though it was a negative experience for me, it also brought in some light for me, and it's something that really inspired me to be a part of Blackout Stanford. I remember the day, everyone was, my friend Christina and Layla, they texted me, they were like, so we're trying to do this thing. And I was like, sign me up. I don't care, sign me up. And I was just like, I want to do it because, I think it's important to just really just speak up about things that you are passionate about, things that you've gone through. So people without a voice, who haven't developed a voice yet, can feel inspired and motivated to do so. So that's specifically for me, and obviously seeing what was happening with everything with the Black Lives Matter movement and police brutality we've been seeing for the past couple of months, it really struck a chord with me, and I really felt like I needed to do something and say something. So that's the reason why I decided to join Layla with Blackout Stanford.
Um, so one of the things that inspired me to start this is actually I have an older brother who's about to be 21 in November, and I find myself, oh, I don't want to cry. Oh, sorry. Every time he leaves the door, I worry. Sorry. So I wanted to start something that could bring awareness, because I know I'm not the only one who worries. My mom worries, my grandma worries. I know I'm not the only one in my family who worries about my brother. So I wanted to start something where we could bring awareness so that people don't have to worry. So there's that.
As far as what inspired me, well, I've been an artist for a long time, ever since I could remember, really. Um, I've always felt like an other. My mom is half Black and half Puerto Rican. My father is Haitian American. My grandmother immigrated here from Haiti. Um, so I always kind of felt ostracized as a child because Hispanic people didn't want me because I couldn't speak Spanish, and I guess I didn't know the culture well enough, and I was too Black. And then Black people shunned me because I had too many like weird tendencies. I was too alt. I was too this. I was too that. I spoke too white. There were so many different things that discouraged me when I was younger. And then I met Layla a couple years ago. Layla's been one of my best friends for the longest time. And she showed me that there are people exactly like us. There are people who have gone through the same struggles as you. They have gone through hell and high border and gone back again to see where they are. So that inspires me every day. And I remember seeing my mom and my grandaunt, my dad sitting in the living room watching the city literally burn at one point because people were so angry and mad at what happened to George Floyd and what happened to all of these different people. So that's what inspires me. People inspire me. I get inspired by my friends, my family, the people around me who are willing to fight and so willing to get up in the morning and do what they need to do because they love it.
I'm sorry, I got a little emotional, but I want to finish what inspired me. Not only my brother, but just watching those videos on social media. I find myself usually just not even being able to go on Instagram, because after watching that George Floyd video, like, it broke my heart. I had to take a time off from social media, especially Instagram, because that's where you would see most of those videos and stories. So that's one thing that inspired me. Like I said, I want to bring awareness. We don't want to just have a blackout everywhere and we just don't do anything. We want to be able to educate people and find solutions to issues, because we see a lot of government officials in these debates, especially, talking about these issues, but actually doing nothing about it. So we want to be able to be the ones that are in the streets marching. If you're not in the streets marching, on social media, just promoting and bringing awareness as best as we can.
And also to add on, I think, there's so many different issues that impact a lot of people, whether it's through mental health, depression. I know there was a very alarming rate of suicides during COVID-19. So even things like that are very emotional for some people. I know it's emotional for me. I saw a couple of videos and, it broke my heart. Um, so things like that, it's like, a lot of people are going through a lot of things. And even though it's something that, it's personal for a lot of people, it's personalized, problems are obviously personalized, but a lot of people go through the same things as you. And it's important for you to find a way to connect with other people, because connecting with other people, it can save a life, it can provide insight, and it can really motivate somebody to keep on going, to continue whatever it is that they want to continue in. And just, talking to other people, really just sitting down and listening. I think listening is an important aspect of all of this. If you don't listen, there's no point. Listening is important. It's important not to get defensive about certain things. You know, um, even as Black people, it's important for us to listen to other people, other races, and hear, what they've gone through as well, and how we can best sit together and create solutions to the problems that we all go through. And listening is a big, important step. If you can listen, you can help, because that in itself is helping. When you sit down and just listen to someone say what they have to say and not just disregard what they're going through. So listening, if sometimes our people with different opinions and then us don't listen and they get defensive, but it's important to just realize that whatever you're doing is probably it's best for you. So just try your best to do your best and just listen to someone else.
One thing I want to say is that as we were doing research, I realized that there are a lot of certain things that affect certain groups. Um, I realized that when we first started out, actually, I had someone reach out to us because they were doing a whole movement inside one of our parks where they just talked about how mental health isn't taken seriously in POC communities, and just how POC aren't taken seriously inside of when it comes to healthcare. So we just, especially me, I just wanted to, push forward and educate people on that, because not many people realize that. So.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Patrick.
Just to touch on something super important, I wanted to make sure that my mom's gonna love to hear me say this, but you have 2 ears to listen, because it's harder to listen than it is to speak. Especially when it comes to people who are afraid to enter activism spaces or afraid to start conversations with their family. I know, especially a lot of my white friends. One of my best friends, her name is Sarah. She feels uncomfortable speaking sometimes because she doesn't feel like she's gonna say the wrong thing. The best thing you can always say in these types of situations is nothing. Listen to the voices of people who are speaking. And it's more important for you guys to listen to us and kind of regurgitate what we're saying than it is for you guys to kind of speak over us. Because a lot of times in activism spaces, the reason a lot of people feel attacked is because they're not listening entirely to what is being said, and they're more concerned about trying to be the savior and be the person that's going to stand up and fight. And we love you for that, but it's important that you make sure and you're paying attention to what is actually happening around you, what people want, what the community wants, and what is happening around your area. So just learn to listen and then thoughtfully take it in and then respond. It's important to make sure you do both.
And to add on to what Patrick said, when you really look at it from a lens, we all want the same things. We all want justice. We all want peace. And, a lot of us have different ways of getting that. And that's okay. It's not about who's right. It's about how to get it right. It's not about which party is, it's what we can do together as one to create change and to compromise and to really hear each other out about what's going on. And that's just how I look at it. I look at it from a human perspective. I look at it as how is this person feeling? How can I help this person? Not because this person looks different than me, not because this person is in a position of power or anything like that. It's how can I help this person? How is this person going to be impacted by what happens next? And just really figuring out how to help people. I think that's the main goal here, is just how can we just all work together to help each other. So, it's important, like Patrick said, to just listen. I think through that, it's listening on how people feel and what, they're going through. Because how will you know how to help someone if you don't listen? How will you know how to, provide resources if you don't know if someone is going through something, because you just don't want to listen and you think what's best for someone because you might be older than them or you might have more experience than them, but at the end of the day it's down to that person and how they feel like they need to move on from whatever that they're going through. So just make sure you all listen to your friends and your family and the people in your communities.
Well, as we're coming to a close here, again, I just want to thank you all so much for joining us on this Saturday for the Making the Movement workshop with Blackout Stamford. Admiralene, Patrick, and Layla, we are so proud of you. Oh, I might get emotional now, Layla. It's not just you. I did this before. We're just so proud of you. We thank you so much for your time and your inspiration. I think a couple of things to remember, in our NSHSS community, you are not alone. You can reach out on social media, talk to others. If you're filling out your worksheet from today's workshop, take a picture of it, tag us on social media, let us know that you have taken these steps that you learned from in this workshop to create your own movement in your community. And of course, don't forget to follow Blackout Stamford on social media, because they will be very excited to see how they've inspired you, and will want to continue to support you in your efforts to create a movement in your community. Don't forget, if you missed anything or if you want to share this with other people in your community, this webinar will be recorded and available on Monday on the NSHSS website. You put the links to the website, but it's very easy. It's nshss.org. And if you guys have any other questions, we can just close out. I think, why doesn't everyone go around? If you have any last thoughts, feelings, statements, anything you want us to remember as we take away. I know the thing that I'm taking away is that activism comes in all sizes. So big, small, medium, you can make a difference in your community. So why don't we start with you, Layla? Give us some closing notes, and thank you so much again for being here.
I just want to say thank you guys for coming. We never thought that we would be able to do something like this. I just want to say thank you so much, and don't hesitate to DM us, email us, whatever it may be, for any questions. If you need any help, if you want to join, we're always here and open to everyone and want to help and educate as many as possible. So thank you.
Abby?
Yeah, I'll go. Sorry. Thank you guys for coming. I really appreciate all the kind words. I definitely needed some uplifting. So thank you guys for coming and just listening and hearing us out. And I hope to see a lot of organizations and movements from you guys, and hopefully a lot of contact and networking. And just, I wish you all the best of luck with your movements and your passion projects. If you guys have any questions at all, you can follow us at Blackout Stamford on Instagram, on Twitter, and our email is at blackoutstanford@gmail.com. Thank you all for coming.
Just to close out, keep on creating, keep on interacting with us. My phone has been buzzing from all the DMs that we're getting. Thank you so much. We love to see you guys interact with us. It's so important that you guys interact with us, and we will be willing to help you in any way, shape, or form we can. In addition, just make sure you support your NHSSS people. Just support their social media. Make sure that you're following them. If you haven't, you're missing out on a lot of content. That's it.
Yeah, thank you again. I think also what Patrick said is really powerful. Each and every one of you are uniquely you, and there is no one else in your community that is you, and there are organizations in your community that need a you. So go ahead and join. Just to follow up, if you aren't registered to vote, When We All Vote is an NSHSS partner. You should be getting emails from them. They will follow through with you on your voter registration process, or let you know how you can take care of that. Also, Admiralene inspired me. I work as a poll volunteer, and so there's things that you can do even if you aren't of age to vote. So contact the organizations and the voter rights community in your area, and they can give you some information about where to go. Thank you again so much to our panelists, Blackout Stamford, and from all of us here at NSHSS, thank you for joining us on a Saturday for this incredibly inspiring and uplifting workshop. And we hope to see you in another webinar again soon. Take care.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Thank you.
Bye, guys.